Badaki, who is the first wide receiver you're avoiding this year?
It's more than one. Let me tell you, it's a group. It's a group of guys on one team. It's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm avoiding Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Juju Smith. Okay. The reason why I'm avoiding these guys, I'm not saying that they're not going to be fantasy relevant. I'm not saying that these guys are bad, fantasy players. I just believe that these guys are boom and bust every week. Okay. And I need players that give me consistency. That's what I'm looking for each and every week going to the fantasy season. Guys that I know are going to at least minimum get me 10 points. Because all these guys could get you 10 points, but all these guys can only go with one target a game because there's so many mouths to feed. Okay. Yeah. And with the addition of Najee, I'm not excited about all these wide receivers. I think Najee is going to get a lot of playing time. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of looks coming his way, a lot of attempts. They're lining him up on the outside already per sources. These guys, we just did a mock draft. Juju was probably taken in like the 7th or 8th round. Last year, Juju was going first, second, or third. That's how high these guys were going. I'm not excited about these guys. I'm completely avoiding them. If I can get them in a late round value, kind of like we did in this past mock draft, I'm happy to take them. But overall, I'm avoiding them completely.
Yeah, in our latest mock draft, Juju was taken in the 9th round. That's good value. Deontay taken in the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That could be good value. It's hard to say. And then Claypool taken in the 8th.
What's crazy is that because when I was doing this and like thinking of all these guys and I look at where their ADP was and where they finish, it's close to where they were. I know, Juju's ADP was wide receiver 14 and he finished wide receiver 16. So that's not terrible. Chase Claypool, I think people took him later on in the rounds. And then Deontay Johnson, he was wide receiver 21. Okay. And I don't know where he finished, he finished as wide receiver 21, but his ADP was a lot lower, if I'm not mistaken. So these guys are like giving you fantasy points, but let's be honest, it was like one day last week or in last year, it was Chase Claypool. The next week was Juju Smith. The next week was Deontay Johnson. I can't have that on my team. I don't like the inconsistency. That's why I'm avoiding these guys.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. The first guy I'm avoiding in 2021 is DJ Moore.
Oh, boy.
How many years now have we heard that DJ Moore is going to be a breakout star in fantasy football? I feel like I hear this every year around this time. Oh, man, this is the year DJ's about to break out, bro. Don't sleep on DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he was drafted too high, okay? His ADP was the wide receiver 16. He finished as the wide receiver 25. This is in PPR, this is the format that we play. He was taken too high last year, and I'm worried that he's going to be taken too high again this year. He's currently being drafted around the 4th to 5th round. And the latest mock draft we just did, he went in the 5th. And my main issue is I couldn't promise you that DJ is going to live up to the ADP that he's currently still, again, almost 3 years in a row, that he's currently, demanding for you to draft him.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Robbie Anderson, okay. Friendly reminder, Robbie Anderson finished 6 spots ahead of DJ Moore in 2020. He's currently being drafted in the 8th to 9th round.
Right.
Where was Robbie in this one? He was drafted almost in the 10th, late 9th round by you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't promise you that DJ Moore is going to finish above Robbie Anderson. Right? So why would I tell you to target DJ Moore in the 4th round when you can get Robbie Anderson in the 9th round? To me, there's just no argument I could make to tell people to draft DJ Moore. The quarterback situation is still uncertain. I know Curtis Samuel is gone, but CMC is back. And this coaching staff is in love with Matt Rule. More than anything, it's not so much about Darnold. It's more about Matt Rule and this coaching staff. They really, really like Robbie Anderson. So I'm telling you to avoid DJ Moore because I don't like his value based off ADP and target Robbie Anderson because Robbie could finish as the wide receiver 1 on this team again 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I truly believe that, especially with, the first thing I thought of when you said DJ Moore was, it was like NFL Films and Steve Smith was at their practice and he was like, He's talking to Cam Newton right next to DJ Moore. He's like, hey, you know this guy? Should I draft this guy? Is he going to be good this year?
Yeah.
You know?
I remember that.
Man, that's so funny, man. But yeah, I love the pick. I love the insight. I completely agree with you.
All right, who's your second wide receiver that you're avoiding here, Badaki, in 2021?
Once again, I mean, it's not, I guess you can consider it a group, but for me, it's just one particular guy, maybe one particular team as a whole is the Houston Texans, and that's Brandon Cooks on the Houston Texans.
Okay. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks. Look, I think this is a pretty obvious, avoid. I think everyone should be avoiding him. I think there is some sort of value. You just don't know how, what value that is. It's the same thing as the Steelers players and where where Robbie Anderson went in this past draft, our mock draft. He went in the 10th round. That's where I'm happy to take Brandon Cooks. I'm happy to take him there towards the end of a mock draft. But I'm not excited to take Brandon Cooks anywhere near. I've seen guys take him 4th, 5th, 6th, the 6th round, and that's like, whoa, man. Like, why? You don't even know. Tell me who the quarterback is. Tell me who's starting.
Tyrod Taylor.
Wow. How good was that week 1 for the Chargers? Then he got a punctured lung. Yeah. Shout out to the doctors. They probably just kick-started Justin Herbert's career there. But there's no way I'm drafting Brandon Cooks at all. And if you really think about it, there's no one on this team that you're drafting, I guess in the wide receiver position specifically. There's Andre Roberts, Randall Cobb, Kiki QT. The only guy I'm probably looking for, and probably in a dynasty role, that's Nico Collins in the future. Mm-hmm. But, you could get Nico Collins in a late round value or Brandon Cooks in a late round value, but I am not taking these guys anywhere near the ADP or even targeting them at all going into this 2021 season.
So the only way I'm taking Brandon Cooks is if he slides, because I think there will be some value. I just don't think the value is going to be very high. Mm-hmm. So I agree to a point, but if he lands, like he went in the 9th round in this latest mock draft, I think I'm okay to take him there over guys like Marquise Brown, Will Fuller, Shenault, Aguilar. I think they're going to have to throw the ball to someone. They're going to be down. So,
and that's what I was thinking.
I might actually be turning into a opposite. Like it might be a guy I'm looking to target later.
And you're right. Like who else is there to throw the ball to? And some of these guys that I just named, they're going to be waiver wire picks. These guys we're going to be talking about in waiver wire episodes where there's value, but we're not excited about it, but you should still get them just to hold them. But that's my guy.
Yeah. All right. The last guy I'm avoiding, and this is hard for me to say, is Justin Jefferson. To be clear, I love Justin Jefferson. A friendly reminder, last year, week 5, I said on this podcast, Justin Jefferson is a more talented wide receiver than Adam Thielen. And I got roasted by Vikings fans and by just fantasy fans in general. Everyone said, you're undervaluing Thielen. What are you talking about? That's crazy. It's gotten to the point where, and it breaks my heart, but I just can't take him as high as he's going off the board.
Okay.
He's currently going around like the 2nd round. He's anywhere from the wide receiver 4 to the wide receiver 7 in most mock drafts. And again, it breaks my heart, but I just can't justify how high he's going in a mock draft. I'm not going to pass up on other talents to take Justin Jefferson. Can you promise me that Justin Jefferson will finish above his ADP? I don't know, but I certainly think there's a possibility that he could be drafted too high. Like maybe you're not getting proper value with Justin Jefferson. And more than anything, this thought is really centered around who the Vikings are as a team, their identity as a team. This is not a team that wants to pass the ball 35, 40 times a game.
Right.
Mike Zimmer is a defensive coach. He would much rather be a team that runs the ball 30 times a game than throws the ball 30 times a game. If he can get Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, 30 to 35 touches a game and the defense is just holding up, then that would be how he would prefer to win games. That's the type of coach that he is. Kirk Cousins isn't a guy that you want throwing the ball 40 times. So when I think about the philosophy of this offense, which is let's get Dalvin Cook the ball, I'm struggling to see the value of a Justin Jefferson with how high he's going. it's turned from a value pick to a avoid for me. Adam Thielen's still there. The emergence of Irv Smith. Dalvin Cook is obviously the guy getting most of the touches. And I think this defense is going to be improved. Mike Zimmer is going to be able to improve this defense from last year. Personally, I hate to say it, but I'm actually avoiding Justin Jefferson. There's not a time when I'm in the second round or the third round where I'm like, you know what? I need to smash draft Justin Jefferson. And I hate to say it, but he's a guy I'm completely avoiding this year. It hurts to say. It really does.
So you're avoiding Justin Jefferson in from the first, second, and third rounds. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Anywhere
If he falls to the fourth, then I'm definitely going to consider taking him. But it's too high right now, man. I mean, he's getting drafted ahead of guys like Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas. Like, we can't promise that he's going to finish above those guys. He's getting drafted ahead of Calvin Ridley even. It's just too much for me to get on board with personally.
I guess my rebuttal would that be the same thing for AJ Brown? You know, he is on a team that runs the ball 30 plus times a game for Derrick Henry, but AJ Brown, for me, he's my wide receiver 4. Okay, in my rankings. Why so hesitant on a team? Like, why aren't you hesitant on AJ Brown? If I'm assuming, I don't know the numbers, that they run the ball a lot more than the Vikings.
Well, here's the difference there. Who else are you going to throw the ball to other than AJ Brown?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, this is a little bit different now, but for example, well, you can't really compare.
Well, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about right now.
Yeah, you can't really compare it to last year because there was no one there.
Who are you going to throw the ball to? Josh Reynolds?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Frisco.
Dude, AJ's confirmed guaranteed 10 targets a game.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.